The death toll from this week's floods in KwaZulu-Natal has now risen to 11, and according to the provincial government, there are reports of one person still missing. This week's floods have wreaked havoc on the south of Durban, on the south coast, damaging property, roads, businesses and infrastructure. SABC News reporter Nonhlakanipo Magwaza visited some of those affected families and compiled this report for us. All right, we're going to look at that clip a little bit later on. Let's continue with this now. The death toll from this week's floods in KwaZulu-Natal has risen to 11 according to the provincial government. There are, however, reports of another person still missing. This week's floods wreak havoc on the south of Durban and on the south coast, damaging property, roads, businesses and infrastructure. Siyabonga Hlatshwayo, Red Cross KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Manager, joins us now to give us an update on aid provision for flood-affected victims in those parts of the province. Siyabonga, Sizwe, thank you so much. We appreciate your time today. So these devastating rains are not showing any signs of slowing down. In the process, more lives being lost and scores displaced. How is the Red Cross currently lending a helping hand in this dire situation?
Good day to you, and thank you for having us. Yes, it's quite worrying as we are seeing the frequency of the incidents that are happening, as well as the fatalities, and we wish to extend condolences to the families that have lost their loved ones. We are working in partnership with the government disaster management as they take lead in terms of coordination of the disaster response. We have been allocated to the evacuation centers where the people that have been evacuated to, and we're providing meals. We've distributed blankets, mattresses, hygiene packs for those that are actually sleeping in the community halls, and moved to evacuation centers as it is.
So, Bonga, how fine, wide-reaching are your assistance programs? I mean, is the Provincial Disaster Department also assisting you with some aid? I heard you talking about some collaboration with the team just a short while ago.
Yes, what had happened, I think about 2 weeks ago, we signed an MOA with the KZN Disaster Management, which was actually aimed at clarifying roles and responsibilities of all parties that are involved in disaster management. This was also guided by Chapter 4 of the Disaster Management Act. So we are operating under that. They play their role in terms of conducting assessments, coordinating allocation of relief, as well as areas that have been affected, and also ensuring that we are able to access communities that are affected.
Now, talk to us about what you have observed on the ground, Siyabonga, during some of your aid supply campaigns. Are these types of challenges only happening in specific areas, you think?
Yes, there are vulnerable areas that are always affected by these incidents. But lately what we are learning is that actually, I think you'd recall that there's been conversations about issues of climate change playing a role in the frequency as well as how the weather is actually behaving lately. So we have learned also that even it's not only the informal settlements, because usually it was always the informal settlements that are always affected, but lately it's not only the informal settlements, but even well planned and well structured areas are also very much affected. So it is also for us to try and find means of engaging communities more, raising more awarenesses, and actually letting everyone know that no one is less vulnerable and less exposed to the disasters.
Siyabonga, take us through some of the latest, most affected areas. We saw during the week, of course, it was Lemontville, it was Umgababa, and of course, some parts of KwaMakhutha.
Yes, Lemontville was one of the most affected areas, with more people that were evacuated to one of the community halls, which is Bayview Community Hall. The South Coast, especially the business areas, were affected. Somewhere around Market were affected the most. Our teams that are based in the Potchefstroom branch were operating with the Ugu District Municipality Disaster Management teams. Also, some parts of Tongat were affected as well. But also, I think another area that we need to also highlight is Newcastle. The Newcastle area has been also severely affected, and the rains have since been continuing. We have since been receiving reports from our teams that are based in the Newcastle branch. I think that area also needs to get a bit more attention and more support as well.
And speaking of that support, Siyabonga, I mean, as the Red Cross, what type of additional assistance are you seeking that residents or organizations can actually donate or assist with? I mean, what are some of the most needed items? I know you were serving hot meals for those who were actually evacuated to other places of safety the other day and relocated to some of those common areas. What do you need?
The people lost a lot during that time. If you're looking at children losing their school uniforms as well as other school items as well, people losing their clothes, food, clean water, as well as other essentials as well. So we will appeal to the public to come in and lay a hand in supporting those people. But mostly, I think to support the people with building material, it would be of great assistance, because as people have lost shelter, the main priority in order for them to be back into their normal lives, it is for them to be supported with building material. There is a need for psychosocial support to support the trauma that they have went through. And also there is a service that we usually offer as the Red Cross Society, which we call it the cash and voucher assistance. With the cash and voucher assistance, we usually give to the community so that they are able to prioritize their own needs. So we give them cash vouchers. They are able to prioritize their own needs and procure whatever that they feel that is their imminent need.
And how do they reach you then, Siyabonga? Do they first reach out to the KZN disaster management team? Because as we understand, you've obviously been allocated the different roles that you're going to be playing in this issuing of aid.
Yes, I usually say that a well-structured disaster response is a well-coordinated response. So disaster management being the center that is coordinated ensures that there is effective response. We are able to reach everyone that is affected, and there is even equal support and provision of relief to the people, so that we avoid duplication of services, because you might find that Red Cross goes to somewhere else, the municipality goes somewhere else, and you find that there will be people that will be getting more support, whilst there are people that are not getting support at all.
All right. Thank you so much, Siyabonga, for that update. That is Siyabonga Hlatshwayo, the Red Cross KZN Provincial Manager, with an update on the flood as well as aid assistance in that particular province.